Hi guys, it's Kasim here from microcorp.ca. Today I'm going to show you how to install Microsoft SQL Server 2012. So these are the requirements. We're going to create this SQL service account. So go to your domain controller, service manager, tools, Active Directory, user and computers. Here we're going to create a new user. Because we're going to use this user as a service account, so we'll select the password never expire. After creating the user, we can add the user to our server administrator group, which is not a best practices. After creating a user, I'm gonna switch to my SQL server, and I'm gonna join the SQL server to my domain. To go to your server manager, click on workgroup and then domains. To join the computer to a domain, you need a domain administrator password and account. After restarting a computer, I'm gonna log in as a SQL admin. There's a best practices to add your SQL admin to your local administrator group. So you can go to your computer management, user groups and computers, and add your SQL admin as a local administrator of the server. The second requirement for the SQL is .NET framework. To install the .NET framework, I'm gonna mount Windows 2012 CD and go to manage and check .NET 3.5 and .NET 4.5 features. On the next page, it will ask installation path. So you can specify the CD path as d sources dot slash sxs. So here will be your path, and then click next. After installation of the framework, I'm gonna mount SQL media on my CD drive. After mounting the media, I'm gonna go to my computer and start the SQL installation. On the first page, we will select installation. And because it's the first computer in our environment, I'm gonna select new SQL server. The installation, check the setup roles and the supportive roles installation. On this page, you're gonna enter your key, and here you're gonna accept the license terms. Because at this time I'm not connected to the internet, it will give me a warning about the updates. Here on this page, after checking the setup rules, it's giving me a warning about .NET application security. Because I don't have firewall on, that's why it's giving me the security warning. You can ignore and because it's a server SQL feature installation. When I select feature installation, here are the rules. Uh, for the SQL, you need database engine, and everything else is dependent. Why are you installing the SQL? If you installing the SQL for the exchange, you need at least management tools. If you installing the SQL for your SCOM, SCCM, you need full text. So here we define our instance. You can leave it as a default one. I'm gonna name my instance as SQL. On the next page, I'm gonna select the administrative authority for the SQL server. So these are the services running on the SQL services, and each required a SQL service account. So I'm gonna select and browse, and then I'm gonna select SQL admin as a service account. And selecting the automatic startup. When we select browse, it means it's authenticated from my Active Directory. After providing the service account for my services, I'm gonna click on collation tab. Here's also collation depend on which software you're gonna use for the SQL. So I'm gonna use MySQL for my Exchange server, so I'm gonna use Latin 1 CP1 CAS as my collation. On this page, I'm gonna define which admin can log in as a database configuration. On the data directories is where the SQL gonna save its databases. So if you have a network device or SAN, you can change the data directories here. And then click next. I'm gonna reporting services. We're gonna install and configure the reporting services. Here is checking the installation configuration rules, and we can install our SQL server. After the installation, we're gonna go to our Windows, and we'll see all the roles related to SQL has been installed. And we will go to our SQL Server Management, also called SQL Management Studio. We're going to connect to our SQL database. And right click on your SQL database, go to Properties, and go to Memory. You will see the maximum memory is selected as an infinite number. If you leave it at that, the SQL services will use all your memory, and it will halt or freeze your computer. So maximize it to a limit more than 8 GB, and then click OK. And then also go to your security, logins, and select your SQL admin. When you click on the SQL admin, you will see server role. Add your SQL admin as a DB creator and server admin. That's how you're giving the SQL admin authority to create a database.